All right. Anyway, where were we? So we were talking about the Uncharted community or the Facebook gaming community specifically having a bigger reach, right?
Right, yeah, and I think part of it has to do with the fact that Facebook gaming itself is still growing, small in comparison to Twitch. Um, Huge international audience, that's for sure. And I think that's a huge growing demographic because of mobile games mostly. Um, and the funny thing is, like, I've been talking to my parents about this too, and it's like when you look at kind of the way technology kind of evolved in the states, it's like people had PCs, then kind of transitioned to mobile. Like a lot of like the international community, it was basically like they just went straight to mobile. Like PCs weren't really that like well flushed out, at least I believe, from a consumer standpoint in all of those nations. Um, so like you'll basically see a lot of people have cell phones, not as many computers or laptops, and that's their primary source of getting onto the internet. So that's why like mobile games are like blowing up like crazy. At least that's what I think. I mean, what's your take on it?
Yeah. No, I got. No, I think that's the case. I mean, to be honest, I didn't really run into that just at first, just because I was streaming mostly on Twitch to start. Facebook
Yep.
gaming kind of came as actually a third option for me. I was doing YouTube as well because when I first started doing this, what I really wanted to do was I wanted to do just original videos. So I had, I have a pretty
Yep.
big collection of a lot of different things. I have a bunch of Funko Pops. I have a lot of physical media games. I have a lot of consoles. So it started off as just kind of a way to do that. But I think for me, it really blew up when, or I mean, for me, the that started off as a hobby. The pandemic hit, and
Yep.
I really wanted to do something that on my free time that I could do inside with the family. And so I would go in my office and I would literally just make up little unboxings. I would get something from Hot Topic and
Yep.
I would just open up, a random um, Funko Pop, Dragon Ball Z, whatever, or I think a Last of Us 2 Culture Fly unboxing. It had like a pint glass. Actually, that's what I'm using, drinking right here. It's
Gotcha.
so I unboxed this with a bunch of other really cool Last of Us swag, and it just really kind of started off that way. And then all of a sudden, OBS I think added Facebook gaming pretty recently. It was just YouTube and Twitch, and I wasn't really getting any
Oh,
viewers on Twitch, just like
okay.
two or three, and so it was just kind of a hobby. And then once Facebook gaming was added into there, I started to see a spike in viewers, and especially after most recently, just literally last week, I had a lot of views on the Uncharted, God of War, and
Yeah.
so I think I'm gonna just start kind of going that route. I mean, it's really fun to have people interacting with you. So I'm gonna
Well,
keep
like,
that going as much as I can, and still do the what I really enjoy. I love playing Apex, and I used to do Rainbow Six, but didn't stream it. And so I'm just gonna keep going on kind of both, alternate on what other people really enjoy, and then also, even though I really enjoy that, but I'm definitely gonna do some competitive stuff and try and see if some of the people I pick up from doing story driven games stick around for the competitive stuff. That's kind of my goal.
yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
as far as the international audience, I think that's super cool because it brings people together. And then if you like me and you, we chat, so they'll see
Exactly.
you hopefully, or people that watch you will see me, and that's kind of what it's all about in the gaming community. Is just helping each other out, which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in one of my streams there was literally a guy, I forgot who it was again, but he literally just pops in just to like better learn English. I think you were in that chat too at one point. He was literally there because he's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to better understand English and speak it." And he's
I
like, "I don't know if I should take classes." Like, do you remember that? I think you were on that chat. If I remember clearly.
I think so. Yeah, I think I saw you mention it for a little bit. Yeah. No, I mean,
Yes.
it's pretty clear. I mean, it's kind of incredible though. I mean, I can't imagine going into like an Asian server where people are speaking their native language and trying to join in. I mean, that's awesome that other
I
people, it
know.
kind of goes to show where we are with learning other languages, where, which is pretty much nowhere.
I know.
Because
It's
everybody from
crazy.
other countries are joining us with no problem speaking English. But
Exactly.
you
Yep.
don't see Americans going into an Asian server or a Middle Eastern server and try and pick up on that language, which is kind of sad.
Nope. Nope. It's very rare. It's super true too. Like I don't know if it's just the way we're culturally built in the West, but it kind of feels that way. Like there's more engagement of people internationally that want to learn, or at least understand English, and interact with people in the U.S. or I guess the Western cultural states and or countries. It's great. Um, it's something that we should probably do a little bit more of. Um,
Yeah, like Nines is yeah, I followed it this guy he's an Italian streamer, and I
yeah.
took a couple of at the JC actually that where we met at the, junior college here. I
Oh
took a
yeah,
couple
good
of
old days.
Italian semesters of Italian and was trying to follow along. And I mean, I'm fluent in Spanish, so that's kind of cheating because it sounds so similar. But I mean, in my mind, at least, I was trying to jump in, trying to practice my Italian, and probably just looked like a complete idiot. But I mean, they're so nice. Everybody internationally is just so friendly, and if you just try and connect with them in any way, aside from the obvious the games that you're tuning into and just watching them,
Yep,
but if you're going in there taking an extra step trying to talk with them, I mean they definitely welcome it. Where I feel like
totally
I hope
agreed.
that's what people's experience is tuning into American streamers, and hopefully it's not a negative interaction ever. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy it, man. I had a lot of people where they were speaking really good English or at least typing really good English, but I
Yep.
could not say their name at all, which was, I
I
tried
know. I
saying
feel
thank you
bad
for the
about it.
like to almost everybody that I see, unless I'm super engaged. But
Yeah, there's like
you feel bad
times where
about
I
the names?
definitely, yeah, there's definitely times where I feel like you've got people that are coming in with like either different languages showing up on when they like your stream, or like totally different names that you can't even pronounce. And I'm like, I don't want to butcher it, so I don't want to pronounce it incorrectly, but I feel bad about it. I'm like, I should at least acknowledge someone who's taking the time to like your stream, follow it, try to engage with you. But yeah, it's difficult. It's like a balance.
Yeah, man. I mean, but for me, I'm really liking it. It started off as a hobby. I mean, I have a full time job. You have a full time job, and
Mhm.
I mean, I love playing video games as kind of a downtime. I'm also a full time dad, so for me, when my little girl goes to bed, I hop on
Yep.
games, story driven game, competitive games for when I want to hang out with my friends. Honestly, especially right now during the pandemic. So it's kind of cool that you can literally we can literally just turn on streaming. You can usually do it through natively through a PlayStation, or you can just do it through your PC. Most PCs have the ability to do it. They don't have to necessarily be, with a webcam built in. You don't have to have a capture device. So really, anybody can do it almost that has any sort of a laptop. You're only limited to the games you can play, really. But I think it's super cool that it's something where people can go in, and if you're entertaining, on Facebook, it doesn't take much to be able to get stars enabled. And if people are friendly enough and have the means to donate a couple of stars, it doesn't seem like much, but it's pretty awesome that that goes a long way for a lot of people. And I mean, I haven't really actually gotten a payout yet. I think you have to have over $100 worth on Facebook to get
Yep.
to receive a payout. But I mean, it's probably you mostly, and then a couple of random people that send me stars. But it's always just super appreciated and super encouraging that I like. Again, I'm just do so many other things in my real life. This is a way to just kind of relax at the end of the night and to be able to make something of it, whether it's just a couple stars for now and then in the future it grows into something else, is pretty incredible. So I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, I'm always gonna probably work full time. I would, as much as I would love to do this full time, even if I was making a decent amount of money through ads or whatever. I
Right.
love what I do. I'm in the restaurant industry, and it kind of builds you to be super high energy, and it's a kind of a rush that you can't beat. Thanks for the stars, Sam. By the way. Yeah, I mean,
Coming in
this
with
is always going to be a
stars.
nice hobby, and honestly, just something that for me, yeah, he's coming in hot with the titties and with the stars. But I definitely want to pass this on to other people, and somebody that doesn't know how to do it. One of the things I want to begin to do regularly is how to stream videos. Whether it's how to
Well,
use OBS or I mean, me and you chatted for a little bit on optimizing video quality, bitrate for audio,
mhm,
video, and all that stuff is, maybe not as important for us because we're spoiled with internet speeds and high end
sure.
PCs, but other people that don't necessarily have the best PCs or the best internet are definitely going to benefit from those tips. So eventually, I want to do that and get more people into it. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know if you've run into anybody asking you for help, but that feels
I mean,
pretty good to get to
yeah,
that point.
I totally agree. I mean, it's like part of like building your community, at least in like the streaming industry, right? Is like engaging with other streamers who want to do the same thing, right? So I think we've got a pretty good group of people that have got set up. I've provided some support on that end of just trying to see like how do you link sources in OBS or how do you get audio output correctly done. So things like that, and obviously even for me, like most of my learnings from like trying to even start streaming really came out of like watching YouTube. It's kind of funny. There's a lot of really good content out on YouTube where it's just like there's people out there building out these tutorials for you to like say like here's how you get started. Which I mean that's probably something that'd be great to do as like a production standpoint. Maybe down the road is like building out some similar content like that. But yeah, I mean a lot of it like just understanding what type of equipment that you need. Like how do you set up a scene, like a lot of that stuff, like there's good content out there, you just got to spend time doing it. And I totally agree, like the when you really look into like the success rate of people who are actually making a living off of like streaming, right, it's a small percent, and I think it's something that a lot of people don't discuss because they go into it thinking like, hey, like if I can just do this for a couple months and I'm going to be big, and it's not as easy as people think it is. Like the level of engagement that you need on not just streaming, and I talk about this all the time. It's like streaming is probably like 15% of what you would do in terms of like growing out your reach or your business or whatever it might be. Um, the other like 85% is really marketing and advertising, like getting your content out there to as many people as possible. And a lot of people are just not like they might not have the resources to do it or might not be knowledgeable about like how do you target certain audiences, and it's a whole other like component that you really have to like understand and learn, which from my perspective anything's learnable, you just have to spend the time and effort to do it. um, at least that's kind of what I've taken away. And then I think the big thing is like for people that want to start, it's like you don't need to be perfect like out of the gate. Like there's always opportunity to improve over time. Because like what I usually see is like even watching like say big YouTubers from a couple of years ago. If you watch their content from when they started to where they are now, it's vastly different. And it's kind of a similar approach. And I think that also adds some value in terms of like people and communities kind of engaging with their content, is like they like to see some of that evolution happen. I mean, I don't know what your perspective is in terms of like building engaging content, but that's kind of my takeaway.
Yeah, I mean it's been super interesting just because what I've done, at least when I was approaching YouTube, was I was doing unboxings, and
Mm-hmm.
my biggest viewership on YouTube and even Facebook were I think I bought a loot box of random PS2 games. It was like 30 games or something like that. And I made a little, a lot of people do. I went first to YouTube and saw what other people were doing in that sort of vein. And I decided, well, a lot of these guys are going on there for like 45 minutes, just taking the games out of the box. And for me, it was boring. So what I ended up doing was that, but I had at least three different angles. I used like a small. I have a GoPro for when I used to go mountain biking. I had my
Yep.
phone, and then I had a little cube camera with a magnet that I used for my bicycle. And so I basically used those three cameras. I used what I had. I didn't go out and purchase anything else, and
Right.
used those things to film myself unboxing this, and then I put music over it, and then I just put price tags over it. I didn't talk, and I got like a pretty good amount of views. So that was my approach. But, that was a combination of something that I knew a lot of people were into out there, but
Yep.
also something that I actually was having a lot of fun doing, and I used the means that I had. So that was my approach. And it made me realize after the first couple of videos that it's a lot harder to do. Just make a video and upload it.
Hmm.
Whether you're using one camera or three angles or whatever. Um,
Totally.
like you said, it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy. And then you have to do a combination of what people are looking for, but I think, at the same time, have to do something you enjoy, because that's going to be very obvious,
Agreed.
especially if you're talking in front of the camera and people are watching you. It's going to be very obvious if you're enjoying yourself. And I think that translates especially over to streaming. So that, putting that energy out and that effort to as many platforms as possible is super important, because some people use Twitter more, some people use YouTube more, some people use Facebook more. But at the end of the day, when you find somebody that really enjoys your content, they're going to follow you on whatever platform you're on. They just need to first
Agreed.
find you. So it's for me, I'm still learning, man. And I think until like last week, and I think it was per your tip. I think like a few weeks ago, you said, "Hey, why don't you do a playthrough of Borderlands 3?" People really enjoyed watching Let's Plays, and I
Yep.
wasn't streaming Borderlands 3, but I was playing it on my off time. And I realized, what, I should, even if I'm not going to put my camera on because I'm so tired, or don't, jokingly said I don't want to put on my makeup. And that's, that is kind of true. I don't really put on my makeup, but I put my game face on, so to speak.
Right.
So
Yep.
I think people want to see you enjoying yourself and when interacting with, with them through the camera. And sometimes I'm just not in the mood to do that, honestly. So I just don't stream. But I think there is that audience, like you said, that doesn't actually want you to talk very much or to have the camera. They just want to watch the
Agreed.
gameplay. And so I need
Yep.
to start doing a little bit more of that, since I do play a lot of story driven games. That's my favorite.
I mean, it's funny, and you hear about this from other streamers too when they're talking about like understanding growth, and like, a lot of people will compare each other to different streamers to figure out like what are they doing wrong, like why is this guy gonna have such a huge audience while this other person doesn't, and he's not even talking that much, and like part of it is that you've got such a broad audience out there that each individual is looking for something different, and that's part of the reason why I always say like if you go out and do streaming, like you're going to get an audience no matter what. It takes time, and that audience is going to be different based on what people want to see and how they want to interact with that individual. So it's like you're going to have people who are more focused on just the content, and all they want to see is like like a story driven game. They want to see the story from the beginning to the end without very minimal interaction with the streamer themselves, and they're kind of like taking that on themselves as like, hey, I'm kind of watching a movie, right? But I'm not having to physically play this game. So there's definitely an audience for that. And then in my experience, I've done a couple of these kind of let's play type videos, and I've always noticed that like I'm not putting them out as a live stream. I usually just upload the video in like 1 or 2 hour blocks, and the viewership on those videos you'll see end up being a lot higher than even the regular streams, and it's kind of crazy because people just want minimal interaction. They just want to see the story. So I totally agree with you on that. I think there's a category of people that love that type of stuff. There's a category of people who like over the top kind of live streams where you've got people dressing up in costumes or putting up avatars of different people.
Yeah.
Another one that I've recently seen. Have you been seeing all those like animated characters based on like people's facial expressions and stuff like that? Like, trying to remember. There's like a guy on Facebook that I see. He's basically like,
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those.
yeah, there's like I'm pretty sure it's like an OBS plugin, but I think you need to have a green screen to do it. But it's essentially like one of those like what do you call those like memojis that you have on like an iPhone, where you basically it takes your facial animations and just props it into a character, and I think that's pretty cool. But I'm starting to see a lot of those, and that's also probably getting a little saturated too.
Yeah, I think I saw that for. I mean, I want to figure out what it is though, because I had somebody that I was following on Facebook. He
Yep.
actually rated my stream. He was from Mexico City. It was during my first Uncharted 4 stream, and I
Okay.
was watching him on his stream. Because I was it was super kind of him to bring like 10 people on, and then
Sure.
after that, it literally blew up after he
Mhm.
joined with those 10 people, and he had somebody on, and whenever they talked through his stream, they had their own animated character, and they would, like you said,
Oh, really?
have like an animated expression or whatever.
Yeah.
But I thought that was super cool. I mean, there's more. There's a lot of stuff on OBS that I didn't know you could do that I just need to kind of explore. But I mean, I like to keep it pretty simple.
Mhm.
I have
Same.
the
Yep.
background logo here for this chat, and I have a couple of other things. But I mean, for the most part, I like to keep it pretty clean. And then as because I honestly, just because I don't know what I'm doing most of the time, and so I just don't know if it's gonna look good or sound good. Like getting this stream going was pretty tough. I mean, it still has a few little hiccups. This one has like a small
Sure.
delay in the sound, so if I cut you off, that's probably why. In order for it to get to work, I had to actually uh, essentially go into my capture card and listen and then output the PC to my capture card.
Oh, really?
So
Damn.
I can't actually hear you on Discord right now, right when you talk. I have to wait for my Twitch stream to go through
Oh,
and then change my PC settings to go out through my capture card. So, yeah.
interesting.
So I mean, next time I'll get it right, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's all trial and error. And so if I'm trying something new during a stream, and I'm going live for 2 hours, and then the whole time somebody can't hear me, or I don't have a filter on, and all you can hear is the washing machine, across the way. Like, I try to avoid new things because of that. I just want to avoid issues, but I mean, so far, man, it's just fun. I mean, I love technology. I used to build websites when I was a kid for fun on like GeoCities and on MySpace. Use a stupid HTML encoder
Nice.
thing to bring up music and all that. So it's just fun to do that like low level, not coding but low level editing. And I mean, I'm just getting into it, and I don't. It's not something that I'm doing for a living, so I don't want to have it be stressful and. But at the same time, if I'm going to be going live and people are going to be watching, because I do want people to be engaged, I don't want to mess it up completely. So I don't know how you got started, or I mean, I use Fiverr actually recently for like the
Yeah.
logo in the background there, and
Yeah.
that's actually really. I think that's a great idea for anybody that's trying to get started, because you're supporting a community of artists really, and it's
Yep.
kind of taking the work away from you, and it's gonna add a level of professionalism to your stream that I think appeals to a lot of people.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, Fiverr has probably been a huge source for me in terms of being able to kind of build out all of my layouts, designs. I mean, for the most part, like the logo and stuff like that, like I did that myself, right? But I think when it came to a lot of the animation type stuff, like I had to really like depend on individuals out on Fiverr because I just don't have the skills to be able to go into After Effects and build all that type of stuff out. So in that perspective, it's like it's a great resource. I mean, I think for even people who are starting out, I think if you want to add a level of production value to your streams, I think it's a good place to start. And it could be simple as just getting a logo animation or a stinger or a transition, right? Um, I think that's it's a good way to go. I think for me personally, I know some people have like people design huge different like layouts and scenes using Fiverr. I've decided to kind of take a different approach and just do that on my own, only because I kind of have a personal preference of how I want things to visually look and kind of display itself to the audience. So a lot of that I've just done, just spending time, opening up OBS and just playing around with all the different features and filters and different JPEGs and PNGs of all these different artworks and pieces. So it's kind of crazy like that. Got our buddy Sam. I think he wants to join in. We should loop him in too.
Yeah, I started off. Yeah, yeah. Is he the Space Viking?
He is the Space Viking. Sam, you got your mic on?
Okay, he's in. He's in.
Yep, I had it on mute. My bad.
There you go. Yeah, we've got an interesting history as well.
Yeah, thanks for all the. An interesting history personally or with streaming or.
Well, both, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we met through a mutual friend, and it was a friend that I had back when I was in grad school out at University of New Hampshire. So this is probably like what 7 years ago, I'd say. Yeah, 2013. And I met Sam through him last year, right? When we went to the fair. Was it the fair? The state fair?
I think we had played games before that.
Yes.
Definitely played, but the first time we actually met, yeah,
face
was
to
for that
face.
fair. Yeah.
And then I mean, I basically wanted
right
to
on,
like.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I mean, we basically wanted to start up streaming. Sam kind of had a similar interest, so we were just kind of been bouncing ideas off each other and kind of help grow both our channels out. So kind of partnering up on that stint.
yeah, I think Sam, you just got your level up right on Facebook.
Yeah, so I've actually had it for like a couple weeks, maybe. I just didn't fill out that tax form.
Oh yeah, you were slacking on that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I was like, might as well just wait till the new year. And I was like, whatever, fuck it, I'll just do it.
Yeah, he's I think originally we were like playing around with like what type of equipment because oh sorry, yep. We're gonna have to
No, go ahead. Sorry if I
the
cut you off. It's because I'm your audio comes in through Twitch, so it's a little delayed for me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta work on that audio delay. It's gonna be the next iteration.
Hey, learning every time.
Yeah. So Sam,
but I mean, what are you guys' plans for the next year? As far as streaming, I'm sorry.
Streaming wise, let's Sam. I think Sam's got some big plans.
Well, let's see. I'm still working on like my whole setup right now. I still got to get like the camera mount. I have a camera, a decent camera too. Using a Canon T6 Rebel. I just need to get a tripod and then a AC adapter so I can keep it powered on, not just running off a battery and then just die. You don't want that in the middle of a stream.
Yeah, which I think you're using the Canon software, right? If I remember.
Yeah. So it's weird. It's a weird setup. So I have to like window capture.
Okay.
For it to show up on.
Oh the screen. Yeah. But there's no delay. At least I've not.
As far as on that test, that was the first test. So you said it came out pretty clean. So.
Yeah, because like I think there was like no difference there's like no audio delay versus the video, so it seemed like it was almost like a regular webcam, which was kind of awesome. And the quality is phenomenal because it's a DSLR.
Yeah, and it pops up a little menu.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then I mean other stuff is like how do you want to set up your background with your camera and where you are,
right.
and how you want to position things, right? And what type of items or objects do you want to put in your background that kind of portrays your character or your personality? So like stuff like that's key. What else is like lighting? Obviously, very important. Lighting and audio.
The audio is my biggest issue right now. Is getting that right.
He's got the original PS4, and it's just like a wind turbine.
Oh my god.
What about you,
Oh, what do
Edgar?
you
You
use for
got
your
you
mic?
got a. Oh, sorry.
Or for capturing the sound on your voice?
So I'm using my PlayStation headset to capture my voice for stream audio, and then using a JLab mic that captures my voice for game audio. So the other guys in game chat can hear me.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So do you have so you're using a PC, are you using OBS?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are the what is it? The
Gotcha. Because you can, what you
original.
can do is, well, what I used to do with the PS4 is I had the PlayStation camera,
So you were using the PS4 camera as part of your setup?
and then I used to you put
And
a
then using
filter on
that.
OBS.
I didn't even know that was possible because I thought the PS4 had a totally different, like the PS4 camera had a different, like input, right? Like the connector for it is totally different, isn't it?
Yeah, it goes to the back, I thought.
It is. Well, I'm sorry. I would use the PlayStation camera for the in-game chat. For so when I'm playing my PlayStation and my squad can hear me through that, but then I would have a USB mic plugged into OBS, and then I would have a filter. Um, and what's great about the PS4 camera is it has a pretty long cord, so you can pretty much situate it, away from the jet engine of the PlayStation 4, and get rid of that issue. And then your other mic, that USB mic, you can usually just put a filter on it through OBS. The only thing that sucks about that PlayStation 4 camera is that you don't have a mute button, which is pretty shitty because in order to mute it, so you basically have to hold down the home
The
button and
PlayStation
turn
button.
off or
Yeah.
put on mute that way. So, if you're in the middle of an online match, it's really inconvenient.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're using the PS4 camera mic for your party chat. Gotcha. Okay, that's actually a good. I didn't even think
I
about that.
do have the camera.
Wonder if that's an option then. Sam, we should probably try that out.
Yeah,
Test that
we'll
out,
have
see if
to
that works.
we'll test that out tomorrow or something.
Yeah, because you could basically just keep it right in front of your mics too. Your
Well, the
Right,
reason I
because
did that is because, yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, sorry, Sam. I keep this little delay keeps cutting you off, but yeah, man. I mean, to kind of jump back, you were asking me about the lighting system. So for me, I have behind me, I have LED strips that are plugged in with a USB, so I can literally I have this little remote that comes with it. It was like $12. You get three strips. You have different color options, so you can just turn it off. You can do a strobe mode.
sweet. There you go.
You can do an annoying flash mode.
yeah, that's what I
Smooth, but
have.
that's like $12. You get two of those. The other one, I have somewhere else. You can put them behind your TV or whatever. And then above are actually battery powered LED lights that last forever. And those have similar features with a little remote. You can do fade, smooth, different colors. So I can take those and I can place them in different areas. So, you see one behind inside my helmet there, and then one where Master Chief is sitting on, behind the other side. So it's just like, it's kind of nice because you can switch it up. You don't have to have anything permanent. The LED strips also come with a little adhesive that doesn't wreck your wallpaper. So you can take them out if you really want. But I like this setup right now. I have, I have a couple of pictures that I framed of games. So I have a Sweet Tooth picture, and then I have a
Sweet tooth.
Town from F-Zero X, and then I have a couple pictures of my daughter. Yeah, the Sweet Tooth one is, I love that one, man. I don't know if you can see it here. Let me. But yeah, those were from, I think, IGN, and then I just put them
Oh,
in
really?
some frames, and then random Funko Pops, and I have my Uncharted 3 Collector's Edition box down there,
Nice.
and then to the right, you can't really see it right now, but here I'll tilt it To the right is a God of War 3 Collector's Edition Pandora's Box. That it's right
Yeah, I
above that
remember
Last
that.
of Us 2. It's an art book.
Ah,
But yeah, man. So I mean, I just kind of and I change it up. You know, it's a good way to display all my collectibles, and I have a lot more. To the right over here, I have this wooden chest that I got in Ohio from a thrift shop that I love. I carry it everywhere. But inside is all of my old games, some random controllers, an Xbox One, and I just take things in and out of there, and I swap it out and put it in the background. But the lighting is I have a big a 4K TV that I use for a monitor, and then I have a 1080p ViewSonic screen, and then that kind of lights my screen up. But if I really want I have a Razer Cam. I don't know if you can see it, but I can turn on more light. It has a built-in LED,
oh,
so I just turn it on
nice.
right now. It doesn't make that big of a difference when I have that giant TV in front of me, but it does help.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of lighting options. You can also get a cheap LED light on Amazon. It's just like one of those rings, you know.
Yeah, because what are you doing right now, Sam? You're using like your TV screens, right, to light your face.
Yeah. So for that one, I used the camera on that last test. It was
Yep.
my TV screens and the LED lighting that's underneath the desk that I set up.
Yep. And that like projects onto the ceiling and the walls, so it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so it was doing just like the smooth in and out of RGB.
Yep. Yep. And I think you're trying to get like one of those dot projectors that could do like those like
The galaxy auras
Galaxy.
in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That would be pretty
kind of
dope.
keep it with the theme of space Viking and shit.
Yep. Yep. That would be pretty dope.
Yeah, Sam, I love your background, or the on the edges of your stream. It looks good.
Thanks. Once I get Photoshop again, I'll start making my own.
Yeah, because I think you made that whole background design by yourself, right? Photoshop.
Not that one. No, that one was just a wallpaper.
Okay.
But I have like my own. I've made my own galaxies before.
Gotcha. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so to switch it up though, I was gonna, what is your guys' focus? Like, how did you guys start on streaming? What did you have like a particular? Did you just turn on the stream and whatever you happen to be playing, or did what you play normally change because you started streaming? Meaning, like, did you used to play different games before streaming?
That's a good question. Yeah. What about you, Sam?
I'm still playing everything that I would have played before. Now I'm trying to like not play one particular game
Yeah.
so often, but I'm hearing on both sides like either you stick to one game and you build that way. And
Yeah.
then you
Because
got
the
people
thing.
who it's
Yeah.
just
Because
weird.
the thing with the Facebook algorithm is it's very geared towards a schedule. So, for example, if you stream Warzone at 7 p.m. like every day, it's going to push you out to more people because it knows already what your schedule is. So it
Right.
knows that at that time you're going to be streaming this game. It knows which audience to stream and put that out to people. So that consistency is what helps Facebook's algorithm a lot. Which is why, like, if you were to jump or switch up your schedule a little bit or stream something totally different, you can get it. Just the algorithm itself just doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know what your audience is, and then it's gonna just get like hung up.
Right.
So in that perspective, it's like, okay, you could stream the same game
Yeah.
for God knows how long, but eventually you're gonna get tired of it, and that's gonna come through off on your stream as well, like you were talking about earlier, right? You got to like enjoy whatever you're playing or what you're doing. So it's kind of it's like a balancing act. I've seen people talk about like setting up one page where they just stream one particular game and that's it, and then have a second page for like all the varied content. Which I mean, that's another option.
That's
But you
just
might have
way too much work.
it's a lot of work. It's a split audience. I don't know if people really want to go for that.
No, I'd rather keep one entire audience. If you don't want to watch it, that's fine. You know,
Yeah, I mean
you
that's
want
the
to
other
watch
thing
it
is
when I'm
you'll
playing something else, and yeah,
right.
cool.
Like that's the other thing is like sometimes you'll notice your audience, like people who start to follow you, they follow you because of one particular game that they like, and they might not
Right.
come back to watch something different, which is fair. I mean, it's their priority, personal preference.
Yeah.
But I think it just comes down to, like you said, what do you enjoy, and if you enjoy playing story driven games or anything else, new releases, retro, like nostalgia type stuff, like just do you.
Right.
And
Right.
the core audience that loves you, and this is the thing, right? Like streaming as a business, there's nothing proprietary about it. Like people are coming back because they want to see you. Like you're the only component that's like proprietary that people can't copy. So
Right.
people are coming back to see you. The loyalists, I guess, is what I would call it. Is like they'll stick around regardless of what you're doing. Um, at least that's my 2 cents.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's something I'm kind of learning specifically from Facebook, just because again on Twitch it sucks. I mean, it's a great community once you get a pretty good amount of followers, but it's so hard to get them, especially because I think it's kind of different, especially if you're doing a game like Warzone or even Apex. There's so many really great players that have such a huge
Totally.
following that only
Yep.
dedicate their time towards making YouTube videos and streaming those games regularly. And they're also just really good. I mean, it's not just that they're putting all their time into it. It's just, they're like I stream Apex mostly, and there are
Mm,
so many other better
lot.
players to watch than me as far as skill level goes on Apex. I mean, I have fun and I love it, but I mean, if I'm being real, I'm not master's rank or predator rank. I get to platinum, but I get my ass whooped at that point, because there's people that are just playing this game nonstop, and so you don't want to watch somebody that's just getting their ass kicked. But you do want to watch
That's all
somebody
that
that's having
happens to
fun.
us
So
on
I do have
Apex.
a few people
Yeah.
that watch me play Apex that.
We were getting
Yeah.
our asses handed to
Well,
us
Apex
the
is a
last two
steep
Oh,
nights we
learning curve,
streamed.
man. I mean, that game takes some. You guys also.
But we were having fun with it
I
though. We
saw
were.
that, but I mean, it's such a fun game to watch though, because it's so
It is.
colorful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh
Exactly. Yeah.
man, I remember when it
I mean,
first came out. I was
not just like
decent. I played for a
aesthetically, but
while and a
the
while.
characters are really colorful. It's great.
Yeah. Sammy, you were gonna say
Sam, you
something?
played it for a while.
Oh yeah, I was playing it for a while, and I was pretty decent. I had tons of wins out of it, and then something else came out and switched over. I think it was Blackout. Blackout probably came out, and I swapped over to that.
Yeah. I think I used to play Blackout. I
Yeah, I
I
mean
wasn't
that's
really.
kind of what.
Yeah, I wasn't really a huge Warzone player to begin with. Like, so that's the funny thing is like I think when I started streaming, I originally wasn't going into it saying that I was going to stream Warzone all the time. But I
Right.
think what I noticed is like streaming kind of forces you to be consistent in some ways, and that because of that, we played so much Warzone, you kind of get better at the game because right, practice makes perfection or makes perfect. But essentially, like just playing it over and over and over and being consistent, like you kind of just enjoy it, um, and it kind of brings better, I guess, skills and aptitude towards the game. So it kind of just stuck with it because of that. Um, Prior to it, I don't think I played that much Warzone. I know all my friends were playing Warzone, but I personally didn't play it that much. It's just kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's a tough. I mean, it's you see the numbers of people watching those games, so you want to hop in, but at the same time, it doesn't tell you. I mean, unless you click on each person
Mm.
streaming, how many are watching one particular streamer. So it's a hard niche to grab, even though there's so many people watching that particular game. That's why I think it is better to watch these. Like you noticed when I was playing Uncharted, I think you were the one that told me that I was the featured person for Uncharted
Yep.
4. I think you have a better chance playing something that's going to grab people's attention, that's a little bit common,
Yep.
or well known, but at the same time, it's not being streamed by so many people because then you're going to pull in a different crowd. I think that's a really good move.
Exactly.
So I think if you're trying to stream and you are trying to eventually get a good audience and maybe make some money, whether it's donations or down the road, build your audience that way and make some ad revenue, then you definitely want to do it that way. Because you want to enjoy yourself. And I think a good way is to switch it up, grab that bigger audience with those types of games. And then those people will hopefully stick around because they really enjoy you, like you said, Vishnu, or they'll stick around for those games where only the hardcore players, the professional players are being watched. But at least you'll retain those folks that are watching you play Uncharted or whatever that niche game is. I think that's a good way to approach it.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see it. Like if you go
Thanks for
through the
light,
list of
Zachary.
games,
Appreciate it, man.
if you go through the list of games that are on Facebook, you'll see like a lot of these, like Uncharted, maybe Days Gone, Horizon. Like they've got decent number of followers that follow that game page. Probably not as many streamers, and that's kind of where like Facebook is like, well, if there's only one guy who's streaming that game for the whole page, like we've got to push him out as the recommended view, or the recommended stream, right, or the suggested stream. So in that sense, it's like, okay, you're going to be put up on top of that list, and whoever gets notified because someone's streaming that game on their feed or their notifications, whatever it might be, you're going to be the first one on there. Like it's kind of a guarantee. It's a good formula.
That's why we should.
Yeah, Sam, do you
Sure.
do you play any story games or do you just do online?
Oh, I play it all. I love story-driven games. A good story-driven game, I should say.
Yeah, what
Which
right, yeah. There's some that are definitely not worth it. Like I've been wanting to I'm trying to figure out, or I finally figured out how to get my PS3. I got the original fat version, so I can do
Oh boy.
PS2 as well, PS1. But I just realized when I plugged it in that there's HDCP and you can't turn it off on it. So that's for people that don't know what that is. It's basically like a copyright protection. So it's mostly meant for, since it has apps like Netflix and some copyrighted content on YouTube that you can access. It's a way to prevent people from capturing Netflix videos and movies, and you can't turn it
Mm,
off on PS3 where you can on PS4 and beyond. So you can get a splitter, an HDMI splitter that basically strips it for you, and you can plug it into your capture card. And so I just figured that out, and I want to go back and play things like Dead Space One, the
yeah,
ooh,
Resistance series.
yep,
ooh,
You can
Resistance.
play the Uncharted remastered collection on PS4 and PS5, but there's some games that are stuck on that generation, and I think that there's a really good crowd out there internationally that would really enjoy seeing those because they're just getting access to those consoles.
exactly. Yeah, which is kind of funny. Like the Resistance series kind of just like fell out, and they never even got a remaster for it. Insomniac's a big company. Like you would think that would be the first thing that they'd capitalize on is a remaster of
Yeah,
the whole series.
that's strange.
So weird. But then again, I mean, we got Spider-Man, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean that was a launch title for the PS3. Yeah, I mean, but I mean, for me, man, I'm just like I'm enjoying it. I mean, for me, this where I kind of the reason why I wanted to get a podcast going too is just there's so many things to talk about, and I want to get into sort of a cadence with these podcasts where we can start narrowing it down. Start talking about one of the many topics we're talking about, and really dive into it. When we were talking about tips on streaming OBS,
Mm.
how to use the tools. We can have an episode on just how to use tools and our experience with that, and even showcase it because we can do window capture and just put it up on the podcast. Another
Yep.
one could be retro games, our favorite generation games on the PS2 or PS3, or we can just do the PlayStation family, the Xbox family, PC specifically, and I mean, it'd be really cool to get other streamers and other just regular gamers in here
Totally.
and to talk about why they game because everybody's different, right? I have a couple of friends who I met recently who wouldn't expect game. I have somebody, one of my friends, her handles, call her Enid. She's, a wife. She's a mom. She works and she goes online at night and plays Apex. And then you have people like me and you who, work during the day and then on their days off or time in between go on and turn on the camera while we're playing our favorite games. So everybody kind of has a story, and I think that's what's really cool about the gaming community is that there's so many different topics to talk about, and there's so many different people that can be topics. Why they game and what they like to game, and it's a really good way to bring people together. I don't know about you guys, but the only podcasts that I know of for gaming really are IGN podcasts. I mean, feel free to throw
the
in
big
some
mainstream
that you might know
publishers that are the
outside of
ones
that,
doing it.
but GameStop, IGN, yeah, exactly, mainstream, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean, that's another thing that I'm trying to experiment with is like a lot of like the thing with the streaming industry in general is like you've got people who do just streaming and then build out like short frame content and other platforms or long form content in like YouTube or something like that. But I think there's like a gap where it's like the community engagement needs to go a little further, and I think it needs to spread out besides just streaming. Where it's like, for me, it's like I'd like to use streaming as a platform, but then also, bring people into it and talk to like say, and I think I threw this idea out there before too, is like bringing like say indie developers who want to showcase their games that they're building, but they just don't have a means of doing it right. Like if we have an audience as a streamer, like it's kind of a big platform for them to be able to like hop on something like this in the format where they can walk you through say a demo that they provided where you can literally stream the game that they're building, and allow them to kind of talk about why they decided to go that route, what game they're developing, what's the story, what are some of the game mechanics and things like that. I think you don't see a lot of that in the streaming industry. I don't know if it's just because of the individualistic nature of streaming, but I feel like from
No,
a
that's a
community
good point.
perspective, I think that's something worth diving into. And I'm going to try to network my way through it, but I'm going to try to find some people that are willing to get engaged in that type of kind of like media framework. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, a good idea for that, man, might be looking into the mobile game space. There's a lot of small developers, that's just like 1 or 2 person teams putting out mobile games. I think that might be a good way for you to reach somebody easily. But that's a great idea.
Agreed. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I just love. For me, it's. I mean, I want to do this because it'd be cool to have other like-minded, gamers specifically talk about topics that we like, and it's a good way to break away from games, but bring in other topics. Like in the description for this, of course, because of all the technical issues, I'm pretty sure I have my Uncharted 4 description on Facebook for this. It didn't change.
Screenshot it. That's good.
I put originally that we can talk about anything, right? It can be about we can even bring up. For me, I love watching on my free time documentaries about space, and the big thing this year seems to be aliens. So that's something that people that's like clickbait for a lot of people. You see Joe Rogan talking about aliens, and it's gonna have like millions of views as opposed to him talking about just some random author or documentarist. So it would be cool to bring those types of topics, but bring them around gamers, and then just start. That'll naturally bring in games that are related. Like if you're talking about aliens, talk about Dead Space, talk about Resistance, Ratchet and Clank, even stuff like
Destroy
that.
all humans.
And I just think that's
Destroy all
fun,
humans,
man. It's
yep.
a unique space to take on the net.
Totally agreed. Yeah, I mean, bringing outside topics into gaming culture, I think is like a good segue, and it kind of broadens the scope in terms of the audience that you can gain, right? So, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, have you guys ever watched or heard of Kind of Funny? They're actually ex-IGN members.
I think I've heard about them. Didn't you say you got like banned by somebody on Twitter or something like that? There was a whole backstory about this. You were telling me this the other day.
Yeah. So there was so I mean I still love them, but yeah, they're on Twitter. So they started to do something really what I thought was strange, and I just voiced my opinion on Twitter. They started to basically campaign for Joe Biden, or they started to promote Joe Biden on their gaming channel. And I used to put on their podcast. They do kind of a Joe Rogan style thing, or they used to, where they just put on their camera and it's just a couple of dudes. It started off this way, just talking about games and other things, just nerd culture stuff, which is where I got the idea for this, honestly. And so I on Twitter, on one of their newer members, I said something along the lines of, um, "Hey man, I really love you guys, but it's I really go here just for the game stuff and the nerd culture, and there's politics at work, there's politics everywhere, and it's just really nice to get away from that and go to your podcast." And they next thing I know, I'm banned by the guy on Twitter, and I screenshotted it, and I replied on Twitter to it with the screenshot, and a few people commented back saying, like, oh, they're just a really positive company, and they, there's no room for that, something along those lines. And I was just like, man, I thought I was being positive. I even said in the comment something about, hey, this is just my constructive criticism. I still love you guys, and I'll still follow you. And it honestly, I haven't watched any of their stuff since then. That really rubbed me the wrong way. I had been following them. They were on Patreon back in the day and on YouTube. They were literally working out of one of their apartments, extra room. They just had like an extra room, and they were roommates and doing a podcast. And I was supporting them since then. And now they're pretty big, obviously with like endorsing Joe Biden officially. And I don't have anything against Joe Biden. I'm not, pro Trump or whatever. And so I don't know how my comment was taken the wrong way. I was literally just saying what my words meant, which was, hey, I enjoy this as a gaming podcast. It'd be nice to not have politics also bleed into this. So that was super weird and super interesting. They're from San Francisco, and I understand that they're very opinionated there, but I mean, I'm from Napa Valley. I'm right next door, I'm not that far off. And so I was very surprised and kind of taken back by that, man. So that's why I kind of also wanted to start a podcast like this. I'm like, well, you know what? If you can't beat them, like not join them either. Just make up your own.
Do it yourself.
Make it better.
Make it better. Yeah, I mean, we talk about that type of stuff too. I think the issue is that, like,
they started off like this too,
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is like, I feel
sorry,
like
Vishnu, go ahead.
sorry, yeah, because like, I think with the political climate and like being like people being so divisive, right? It's like you've got like a group of people that like don't want to listen to other people's opinions, and people just don't take things at face value anymore. They always look for like an underlying message, which is kind of the issue with like cancel culture nowadays. Which is it's really funny.
Yeah, no, and that's what I was like, dude, did I just get canceled from Kind of Funny?
Hey, it's the internet. Anything can happen.
With my
It's
12
kind of
followers
funny.
on Twitter?
As fast as you can blow up and go viral, the quicker you can fall.
It was pretty funny. I mean, yeah, I mean, it was definitely an eye opener, man. I mean, for me, it was just the particular individual that blocked me from the company. I still am a big fan of him, and he streams on Twitch, and he's a really funny guy. He's fun to watch. But I mean that rubbed me the wrong way, to be honest. And I still love their content. I wish them the best, but there's so many other people that aren't gonna block me from constructive criticism on Twitch. And so I'm just, instead of watching them, I'm watching somebody else now. And it's not that I took it personal. It's just that they did, and I kind of recognized that there was an obvious difference and just handling ourselves on the internet. And I mean, it's games, it's not meant to be something that to be banned over. So
Crazy.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I've just brought him up because their podcast is actually, or was, pretty interesting, and I really enjoyed it. It was just literally a group of friends getting together, and sometimes there would be a bottle of whiskey on the table, and they would literally just be having fun talking about comics or movies. And I really enjoyed that. That's something that I wish I could have done with my, or I did do with my friends to some extent, but I wasn't on YouTube filming it or anything, so it was kind of cool
Right.
to see somebody that was able to literally make a living from doing what I did on my free time sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, a lot of the times it's like you watch people that you idolize, and sometimes they're not particularly the exact same character that you have in your head. I mean, we see that a lot. Um,
Oh, everywhere.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, you've got the right mindset. It's like take the best ideas that you've got or you've seen from other creators that you think you can apply differently, or get better exposure for, and reapply that in a
Improve
way
on.
that you think you can improve on it. Yep, like Sam was saying. Yep.
Yeah. What about you guys? Is there do you guys listen to do you listen to podcasts, or is it just shows or games for you guys?
I think it's like a mix of
Games,
stuff.
movies, music.
Yeah,
Not so much
yeah.
podcasts. And this is probably
I,
the first podcast.
I could probably fill up a whole podcast of just content that I watch and am inspired by, that I've kind of brought into my streams a little bit as well. So that's like a total. We'll save that for the next one.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so I mean, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know it's the New Year's, but what do you guys, speaking of that, what do you guys, do you guys gonna go to a hop back on a stream after this, or what are your plans for the rest?
I probably should sleep. I stream some weird
Yes,
hours. Yeah, it's a long day.
it's 1:43 here for me.
Oh
Yeah,
damn, you're right.
I saw you hop
Jesus.
on at like 2 a.m. yesterday, right?
Oh yeah, my whole sleep
Dude,
schedule
I
is
might have
totally
to pull a
different.
Vishnu and do it all nighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Zachary just commented on Facebook, says you were just looking for something to break away from the toxic nature of politics, somewhere to be free of that, or what you would be free of that cause it gets overwhelming. Yeah, no, definitely, Zachary. That's definitely what I was trying to do, man. So it was super strange, because I try to bring it back and kind of say like, hey, I'm probably on your side as far as if what your mentality behind politics, but I'm also not here to insult or announce it. It was kind of my message, just because it's so toxic, and my politics change based on kind of my family needs, my
Policies.
job
Yep.
needs, and that's what
Yep.
politics is supposed to be there for. It's supposed to change. It's not supposed
Mhm.
to be a color you choose and you stick with it for the rest of your life. It's supposed to be something that, as politics change and evolve over time, so do you, because of who you become as you grow up. I mean, I'm definitely vote differently than what I voted when I was 18, when I was first voting. So you're absolutely right, man. It's nice to break away from the duty of being a citizen to do something different. Especially when that can be your duty to vote, can be a toxic thing for other people, which is a weird thing to think about. It's supposed to be something that's respected.
I agree with you on that.
But sorry to go back on politics there. But yeah, he was took the time to comment, so I wanted to say something about that. But yeah, no. I'm probably just gonna be. I'm starting a stream, whether it's Apex or I haven't gotten the Uncharted Lost Legacy in yet, but I definitely downloaded the Frozen Wilds. So I hopped on Horizon yesterday to get a feel for the controls because it's a pretty difficult game. and I was getting my ass kicked on that game, man.
Are you playing on the hardest difficulty?
No, I think I just have it on. I think I have it on hard. It was on New Game Plus. So my last save was New Game Plus on hard, and there's like hard, extra hard, and then crushing or something like that.
Gotcha.
So third to last difficulty.
It's a good game. I mean, the expansion's pretty good too. It's lengthy. At least I felt like it was lengthy last time I played it.
Yeah, the first one was like I don't know. I probably spent 40 plus hours on it. So it was. I normally don't play games that long.
Yeah, I think Horizon's good. Yeah, I think that'll be a pretty good one to stream. Um, I for some reason have this like idea that if we were to stream Titanfall 2 multiplayer, it would be pretty OP. But
We should do that and Castle Crashers.
oh yeah,
Oh, dude,
Castle
we would
Crashers.
get her. I actually did Castle. Oh yeah, Castle Crashers, man.
It's on PS4 now, so
So that one's good.
I'm sure PS5 can have it too.
Yeah, so that's another good one. Party games are always a good one.
Yeah, that one's fun.
Oh, it's on.
That one's
It's
entertaining,
on
too.
PS4.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
just added it.
yeah.
I think it was like last year, this year, something like that.
It was like a remake or a remaster or something, but it's another good one.
Oh wow, we should definitely hop on that.
Yeah, I have it downloaded already, so whenever you
Yeah,
guys
I mean,
want
I think
to
we've
play,
been
I am
talking
down.
about Among Us for like the longest time,
There's,
but that's another option too.
yeah, there's that too. I have that.
Oh yeah, isn't there a new map on Among Us too? I'm down for that.
Yeah, we just got to get a
do
decent
both.
size of people to do it.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's a
think you
tricky
can make
game.
it.
How do other streamers do that game? Have you got? Because you looked into it, right, Vishnu?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them have like a pretty big friend group, at least that I would think of to be able to stream it. I think the difficulty is that they're like a lot of the bigger streamers. It's their full time job. Like we've got different schedules and we're living in different time zones. It's a little difficult to block off. Like, hey, we're gonna do 2 hours of just this. It's the difficulty of getting older. Got different responsibilities.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We just gotta like agree on a date, a day off that, or even a time, a certain amount of time off for everybody, and just kind of make
Yep,
it happen. Play for a couple hours. That'll be fun, man.
that'd be good.
Yeah, the last time I played was the first time was one of the many evacuations from the wildfires out here. I just downloaded it on my mobile because it's free, and yeah, that was. I had no idea what I was doing, man. But I mean, once you get the hang of it, it's addicting.
Among Us. It's kind of funny because that game came out like a year or two ago, and it didn't really have as crazy of an audience. And then just like all of a sudden, the streaming community just picked it up and it just went viral. Everybody's talking about it. It's funny how things like that work out, especially with the indie games.
Yeah, it's such a simple game too. I mean, it's a really smart design. Yeah, so I do have to bring up the so I was watching just because the stimulus package that's coming up here in the states, that's been a big topic, but not gonna
Mhm.
get into politics again, I promise. Although there is something interesting about that I found out. I don't know what you guys think. So apparently there is a part of that bill that describes how the government has 180 days to disclose information about unidentified flying objects. Did you guys know that?
Wait, what?
No, what?
as a thing?
Please
Why is
tell.
that even in a stimulus
Oh.
package? It
Yeah,
makes
so-
no sense.
And this is an actual thing. You guys. Oh yeah, there's so many things in the bill that don't make sense,
I know.
beyond the stimulus package. So it's really funny in a way. But it's one of the more interesting things is that's why I ask you guys is there is literally a part of the bill that says that the government has it's a time limit, which means that by June, it's 180 days. I think it's June. They have to basically disclose information about what all that is, because there's just so much misinformation about what it is, or what and I'm not saying it's aliens. I'm just saying that since
Yeah.
there's so many reports, whether it's like government vehicles or technology that we just don't know about, which it probably is, honestly. But I just think it's super interesting that it's being snuck into the stimulus bill, and it gives a timeline to our own government to disclose the information.
It's just
You guys haven't heard of this?
Politicians today are so out of touch with like what's actually going on with the common person, common working man. It's ridiculous. Like if you look at what's going on right now in terms of like people suffering from not having enough food and all this other stuff, not being able to pay rent, paying mortgages, like this is priority. It's insane. Like you're so out of touch with reality. It doesn't even make any sense. Like stuff like that really frustrates me.
Welcome to
And
capitalism.
we're voting these people in. It's like it's crazier. It's like
Yeah,
what?
no,
There's lobbyists. I get that. There's like people who are politically. It's insane how we can keep individuals like this in office long enough to it's not providing any sort of value. It's really not, at least for the common person.
No, I agree. I think that we need to reevaluate terms or length of terms for not just the presidency, but for the Senate or House, and yeah, the judiciary branch, like everything. But I just thought it was really interesting because I love podcasts, and so a lot of the topics that come up are, about that sort of, they ask, like, I watch Lex Clips and Joe Rogan, among other ones. We can get into those in another episode, but one of the things that really grabs my attention is the whole the technology aspect of all those conversations. I'm just one that it's definitely technology that I think we have access to, and it's just a national security to talk about it publicly. And I think I mean, I don't know, it could be little green men, but I just think it's super interesting that so many people are noticing, because of technology, that they're calling in, they're making YouTube videos, and so the government's putting this into a bill so that hopefully people start freaking out and get some answers behind it. Because there was also it was like I don't know if it was some sort of Ministry of Defense person or the chief military officer for like Iran, that came out and said that he's also coming out with a book, by the way, but he said that we have a base on Mars with aliens or something crazy like that. And I totally think it's him just advertising his book. But it's just weird timing with this bill and all of these podcasts that are huge, like Joe Rogan and Lex, talking about technology and aliens, or whatever it is, the phenomenon. So that's why I wanted to bring it up at least a little bit and see if you guys follow any of that at all.
Is that what we're going to be expecting in 2021? Is a reveal that aliens are real and they've been among us for a long time?
So who's eating an alien's ass first?
I mean, it could be. I mean, you never know, man. With how strange this year was.
I mean, I'm not saying the possibility can't be. I mean, it's probably likely because how vast the universe is. We're definitely not alone, I don't think.
Yeah, what do you think, Sam?
What's that? It cut out on me.
No, we were just talking about like your thoughts on
No, what do
aliens.
what's your opinion? Do you think it's aliens? Yeah.
I don't know. Uh, I think it'd be aliens.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's super interesting. I mean, I hope it is, because then that means that they're not mean, because we're still here.
Right, right. I mean, who knows? They could be dead. But there was that Air Force video. Did you see that one? Where they're like they couldn't figure out what they were flying.
Which one was that?
There was one the Air Force. I think it
Yeah,
was
that's
the
that's
release.
actually the main thing that it was Commander what's his name? Fravor or something like that. He was on Joe Rogan and a couple of other podcasts and even on like CNN.
Oh, don't think I've watched that episode. Now I kind of watch it. I kind of want to watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
It's basically yeah, it's I think they were just doing the Air Force was doing a like a test run or something with F-18s, and they one of them was a commander. He has like, I don't know, like a couple decades under his belt flying jets, and he ran into something unidentified. He describes like a tic tac. It's super interesting.
Yeah.
Check it out. But the long story short is, the guy was excited because he was like, "Man, that's something I would want to fly because it's just so it's flying at incredible speeds and doing crazy maneuvers." And he actually tries to track it down. He actually flies after it, and at one point, radars lock onto it. It's super interesting. You should look into it because I'm probably not going to be able to tell you the actual story, but it definitely makes you wonder. It's a really blurry image, so it's kind of makes you question a little bit, but at the same time, what's more interesting is how this guy has so much experience and he doesn't seem crazy at all, and he's wondering what the fuck is going on. He's flying an F-18. He's a professional, and he's going like, wow, this is insane. I want to fly that. I mean, the guy is interesting, and I think his experience is kind of more interesting part, because the footage itself is kind of, it can go either way, I think, just because it's not clear. So, but check it out, Vishnu. It's on Joe Rogan, and then Lex Friedman also interviews him.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that.
Well, yeah. So, we'll wrap it up here soon. I don't want to take too much time. So, to end it? What are you guys hope to accomplish for your stream this next year, or the next? It doesn't have to be like a year resolution, but is there anything that's on your plate previously this last year that you kind of want to carry over onto the next?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm still working on getting a broader audience, so I'm trying to approach it with different social media platforms, trying to grow that out. And then I'm also trying to focus on kind of building out like community tournaments and things like that. I took a first attempt, didn't really work out because I don't think I spent enough time, or at least I don't think we have the audience base, at least I don't, to get the number of people that we need for stuff like Warzone tournaments where it's like 50 people. You need like an audience that's like of 50 people that are always engaged with your content, which I'm not there yet. So
Yeah, and
that's
you might need like multiple people for that too.
you need multiple. I would say like multiple
Like
streamers in
multiple
their
streamers.
communities
Yeah.
for it. Yeah, yeah,
That way you can bring in each person can contribute.
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, I have all this infrastructure for it. Like I know
I
how
saw
to
your last
get
one
the
that you
forms
posted.
and
I wanted
Yeah, what were you saying, Edgar?
Sorry, go on, man.
No, I was just saying, is like in terms of like trying to get the infrastructure for it, I think I've got it. I think I got the right forms, how to collect, I guess buy-ins and things like that. I think I figured that out. Looking at what other people have done. So I think that part's pretty much done. It's just, like I said, the marketing, advertising to get the word out and get people invested in it. That's the difficult part.
Maybe boost posts for that some
Yep.
more.
Yeah, I wanted to join your last one, but that happened to be when I was kind of on a hectic. I had just started my new job, so I was kind of on, working 7 days a week, and so I was like, man, I don't want to commit to it, and not be able to make it.
Oh, no
But
worries.
I think that as kind of things going into the new year, things have kind of settled down with that, so it should be a little easier to do that because that's one of my goals is kind of build a schedule around my
Yeah.
streams so that I can include the people that do watch and the community that on Facebook and on even on Twitch. But although I have been considering kind of maybe dropping my Twitch community, not that I don't like it. It's just that it's people pop in and out,
Yeah.
and it takes up a lot of bandwidth and it's extra energy, to make clips and all that. And I really like Twitch to be able to the community as like as far as watching and supporting other people. But since I do have a broader reach with Facebook, I think I'm gonna embrace that. So that's my goal is to just kind of focus a little bit more on my streams, not just my audience, but kind of the direction I'm going in, and get back on my original videos. And that's more for my enjoyment. I really like making, showing off my collection. There's so many things that I actually still haven't gone over that were on the books, but then multiple evacuations where I didn't even know if my office was going to survive and my stuff was going to survive. Like I just kind of put off a lot of projects that I was working on. I actually have a bunch of footage that I never got to put together. So I'm gonna probably revisit that now that work is settling back in, and I can get a schedule going, and that includes having a schedule to edit, 1 hour a day or whatever it is, so I can put out, even if it's a video every 2 weeks, something fun, game hunting videos, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Sam, what do you got?
Just kind of basically
But
need
yeah,
to
man, I'm down for
finish
these
up my
tournaments.
setup.
You guys both have Super Smash Brothers?
Nah, you're
Oh, I'm
talking
sorry.
on,
What
on
was that,
Twitch?
Sam?
I was just talking about building up a
On Switch,
a
yeah.
base. Yeah, figured.
Yeah, you know what might be a good idea is, I mean, we all have a Discord. I see a lot of streamers join a group or create a group, or I don't know if they're joining a group, but it's almost like a little company that hosts a bunch of different streamers, and it's like a clan basically, like you would have on a game. I don't know if you guys
Hmm.
have seen that or if you've considered it, but that might be a good thing for us to kind of create and cater. Instead of having our own, we can have our own Discord, but also have one that we're a part of and that we all contribute to, and we can all be moderators on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd
it's a
be
good approach.
pretty
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
that way you don't like fragment the user base with like your audience base.
Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be up for that. I mean, yeah, that's something we can kind of talk about, and we can probably just go ahead and create a Discord server and think of a cool server name and just kind of go on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be down for that. That's a good way to go.
Right on. Well, here, guys, I'm gonna let's, unless you guys want, is there anything you guys want to talk about before we cut it? Because I definitely want to give you guys a shout out. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I know there was a couple of, especially you, Sam, and for giving us the tips and catching. We probably would have gone the 2 hours talking the whole time and
Yeah.
didn't realize there was no audio. So I
Talking to a
appreciate you,
wall.
and you, Coastal, for joining me in this, and I know we talked about it for a while.
Yep. Yep. And thanks for having us, by the way. And this is
Yeah,
something
thank
that I
you.
wanted
Thank
to
you.
do as well. So this is
Yeah, this is really pretty cool.
good that we're kickstarting this, and I think there's a couple of hitches that we need to figure out, but I think we'll
Like
eventually
this
get to the
delay.
point. Yeah, the audio delay. we've got to tighten that up. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'll fix that. I don't know
That way
why
we don't
it's
have,
doing
like,
that, man.
awkward
I mean,
pauses.
I use this setup for my Switch, and I haven't had this. Yeah,
Do you have a
exactly.
Switch, listener?
What's up? What'd you say?
Do you have a Switch?
I gave it away.
Ah.
So unfortunately, I can't join in the Super Smash Bros. Journey.
I'd get my ass kicked anyways.
That's because I'm waiting for the next Switch. What is it? The Switch Pro or whatever they're going to come out with next. Probably next year.
Pro Light?
Pro Lite, I guess.
I don't know. It'll be their fourth one.
Oh, Zach, thanks for the tip. Legion, that's the word I'm probably thinking of for joining a Discord stream or a set of a group of streamers. They call it a Legion.
Legion. Okay.
A Legion, okay.
Yeah, it's something we can work on.
Or we can just
Here
call it
go.
a gang. You know, a stream
Gang.
A gaggle.
All right, guys. Well, I'll let you go. So if you guys are watching or listening to this, I am gonna put this on Spotify. At least that part I think I set up correctly, so I'll be able to upload this and get it onto a regular stream for people to listen to on that and future platforms as well. But make sure you follow this Coastal Minority. He's on the screen there through Discord, and then you can't see Sam. That's Sam is Space Viking. He also has a Facebook gaming channel. Is it the Space Viking? I'm sorry, what is it, Sam?
Yeah, the
Is it the
Space
same as your
Viking
Discord name?
27. I think, yeah, the Discord is 27, but it's just the Space Viking, I think, on Facebook.
Okay, the Space Viking, and then Coastal Minority. So if you guys, I follow them as well, and we played a couple of games on Call of Duty together, all three of us. So make sure you guys follow them and stick around for the next one. So again, I really appreciate you guys coming onto the stream and everybody that's watching. Zachary, thanks for being on the chat, and I really appreciate you contributing to the conversation, man. Hopefully you come back for the next one.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for having us. You guys have a Happy New Year.
Yeah, and Happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah, of course, guys. Have a Happy New Year, and yeah, we'll play some games pretty soon.
Yes, definitely.
Sweet.